Tell us about your family, in-law problems. Did you have any when you started dating, and then later when you started talking about marriage? Were there any threatening of disowning you or something like that? How did your parents handle it?
Shall I start?
Ladies first.
So in the colored community, everything is so mixed anyway. My family, my granny and my grandpa and his siblings, back in the apartheid days, had to do the whole pencil test. I don't know, and among the siblings, they were differently classified. So some were classified as white and some were classified as colored. So in my family, needless to say, race didn't really mean much, simply because it was a silly test. So
Well,
when
you have that story of, was it your grandpa and grandma who couldn't go to the
same hospital.
Same hospital.
And what's the pencil test?
It's the test in the hair. If a pencil sits in your hair, then your hair is not straight enough.
Oh my goodness.
But if a pencil falls out, then your hair is straight enough, and then you're white.
Oh,
I failed the pencil test, by the way. My hair gets any longer. I've tried it.
okay. Yeah, you fooled us with your skin color. So, okay.
So in my family, race isn't an issue because in the family itself,
Some passed
They
the
were-
test and some didn't.
exactly, in one family with the same parents, they were white and colored siblings,
Okay.
white and colored
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
So I obviously went home and told my mom there's this guy and I think I might be interested in him, but how would the family feel? And my mom told me this story, so things went well. We did have a struggle in
Yeah.
Ronier's family.
Yes, so I had to very carefully broach the issue. I still remember taking a walk with my mom and sort of just posing it as a hypothetical. You know, we'd already started going up.
Yeah.
I had to pose
What
this
if?
as a what if, and it did kind of take her by surprise. And she handled it very diplomatically at that point, because I think that she already knew that it wasn't a hypothetical.
Knows her son.
Yeah.
See him quickly.
Yeah, you can.
Look, I don't know. So anyway, yes, started as I thought it was a hypothetical, and I think my mom obviously knew that it wasn't. So there was some hesitation, and I think not because they were necessarily against it or anything, but just because it was out of the ordinary and no one in our family had done it before. So for them it was a little bit strange. And then I think, there was a part right in the beginning where we kind of broke up because of it, because I said I didn't know if I had the guts to continue. And then luckily it was actually a church service that I was in, and the message was that we're all the same inside. It doesn't matter what's on the outside. And it wasn't actually a message about race. It was more about about your sins and what you've done and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter what you've done. We're all the same inside and we're all safe and everything. But it resonated with me in terms of we shouldn't bias on any external factors whatsoever. And that made me decide that I want to pursue this and I want to take it further. I want to see where it leads. So then we met up again, and I said, it doesn't matter whether my parents like it or not. I'm gonna give this a go, and I'll tell them, and we'll see how they react, and let's take it from there.
Okay.
So yes, and then I think the first meeting was slightly strained, and it took a while for them to warm up to Tiana as a person.
Okay.
I think the sort of different culture thing might have been a slight barrier. Also because I think it has a lot to do with your perception of what culture is like. So if you've only dealt with a certain subset of a culture, then you kind of tend to generalize and think everybody is the same. So if you're black, then you're into
Or
the
like the
traditional
blacks that the person knows.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Whereas the sub parts of a culture differ in terms of economical means and education and all sorts of other forming factors.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, we're very similar. You know, we have a high level of education, and we both have parents that value education a lot. So in terms of you know, middle class culture, very much the same. And then it's almost like it's the other way around. You know, it's not a subculture of, you know, your skin color. It's more like, oh, we're all middle class, but then you have your little nuances in terms of your, you know, colored culture or white culture or black culture. So I'm pretty sure if you took all of the middle class people, no matter the skin color, then they'd all be very, very similar, because they would have gone to similar schools and had similar education and similar friends and interactions and social. So then the subparts would just be the little nuances. So in the colored community, you'd have that, you know, the auntie and the uncle type of culture who always make a lot of food, and there's sort of, you know, big family gatherings and stuff like that. In black culture, you'd have a lot of traditional sort of things still coming through, and you might have that arranged marriage situation. But apart from that, you know, we're pretty much the same. And then the white culture, you might have the typical Afrikaans subculture, and you'll have that uncle who's, you know, Boere music and you know, very sort of staunch beer drinking, braaiing sort of culture guy.
Afrikaans.
Yes, typical Afrikaans. Yeah. So I think for us it was just a case of, you know, hey, we're very similar. And as my parents got to know her a lot more, they could put that bias behind them and go like, oh, she's actually a nice person, and we actually have a lot in common, and there's a lot that we can talk about. And there's no reason to think that there's any, you know, reason that they, you know, the two of us wouldn't be compatible, or that she wouldn't fit into our family, or vice versa.
In fact, I mean, there's a lot of married couples from the same race that have huge problems, you know, with differences. And sometimes I think it's because we focus on the differences. In your case, it sounds like, you know, you had to find these commonalities, things that we like and, you know, are the same, and work on that. If you look at that, and maybe there's a lesson in that for ordinary couples.